Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great day. It is bright and early, and I am very caffeinated. But today I want to talk about something that's affected me over the past couple of years, and I'm sure it's probably affected, I don't know. Maybe it's affected you, maybe it's not. But today, the main thing I want to talk about is setbacks in the gym. And I want to talk about this because if you've watched my previous videos, you may know in regards to sort of my story that going to the gym was one of the first sort of self-improvement habits that I developed that gave me that boost of self-confidence, growth mindset, and sort of belief in myself that has led to a lot of progress in life in various areas. And with that, there is, through the gym you get very positive benefits, discipline, mental health benefits, and all the things I'm sure you've heard of. But with that comes a level of, sort of downsides, right? We start training and, sort of really absorbing the vanity where it's like we put our self-worth into how we look and all these things. And, the truth is the gym is a sort of lifelong journey of ups and downs, right? Not every day are you going to look your best, feel your best, or be your strongest. And I kind of want to talk about how to deal with setbacks, right? Because I've had numerous setbacks, whether it be my shoulder, my hip, back. I've had problems, throughout the years. And I just kind of want to, I've been negatively affected sort of mentally by placing my self-worth into these sort of vain metrics by which we measure ourselves in the gym or in regard to our physical training or sport or whatever. And I want to talk about ways to deal with it and just kind of what mindset to avoid so that when you do inevitably reach a setback, you know how to deal with it. And basically the first point, which I kind of already said, is that putting your self-worth into your gym progress is a losing battle, okay? That's going to come back to haunt you, right? Your PRs, your aesthetics, that does not define you. When I first started going to the gym and I was getting all big and whatnot, putting on muscle, looking better, feeling better and whatnot, I really started to place my value in my gym progress, how much weight I was gaining, how did my muscles look, all that, right? And, maybe that came from sort of like maybe that came from a place of external validation for that. Like, all of a sudden I could talk to girls and I would start to become friends with the big guys in the gym, and I figured, oh, okay, now I'm being accepted and this is a result of my gains. But in reality, it's probably not a result of what is just external, right? That sort of inner confidence, that discipline, that self-respect, it emulates in the way you carry yourself. And it's not a result of just your gains or your PRs or whatever. The true lasting benefits of the gym, although I'm not as big as I was in my peak or as strong as I was, the discipline, the fortitude, the self-respect, the believing in yourself is all still there. And that's what's going to help you carry yourself with your head a little bit higher than when you didn't train, right? So it's not just about how big you are or how strong you are, which, again, it's a lifelong journey of ups and downs. There will be the time where you recover and get to go back on that, upward trend of hitting new PRs, looking better than ever. Just be patient. It will happen. But just know that when you're in those low points, it doesn't lessen you as a person. It doesn't that's not a reason to hang your head low and to be pouty and to not be confident around people in social settings just because your gym progress isn't where you want it to be. And this might seem weird to people where it's like, why does the way you interact with people socially and your level of self-confidence change when, your gym progress is affected? But if you've ever put your identity into something that you do, you would understand. Like for me, when I was younger, it was lacrosse. Like if I wasn't a good lacrosse player, like I felt horrible, like, all this anxiety, like hyper competitive nature of club sports and everything. I'm sure a lot of you could relate to that. My self-worth would be absolutely diminished, but when I was doing great, all of a sudden it's like, I'm the man. I'm walking around with my head high. And, it's just something that I'm sure that you guys can relate to in some aspect of your life. And it does affect you socially and in other areas when, you're not doing so hot in what you place your self-worth in, which is why it's important to not place your self-worth in any of these things, because at the end of the day, it's all highs and lows, and you don't want your mental to be going through these highs and lows when it's based off of something that is, fleeting and not guaranteed. And now the next point I want to make is treat every lift like a compound lift. And what I mean by that is, if you've hurt your shoulder, for example, the odds are you've been given some sort of rotator cuff exercise or something small or seemingly small to do to recover your shoulder, right? You need to fix your infraspinatus or whatever. Or for your hips, maybe you're given some type of single leg touchdown squat, like very small, insignificant exercise to recover. And the mistake that I've made in the past that's kept me stagnant and sort of getting back to where I want to be is not treating these lifts with the due regard that they deserve, right? The reason when I first started in the gym that my bench press blew up is because every week, twice a week, I would train it till failure, right? And every time I was able to add more weight, I would do so. Now, granted, we're not going to be loading up our rotator cuff exercises with the heaviest dumbbell we can find, but treating it with the same regard as, like, for example, my bench, as in training it consistently and consistently progressively overloading, treating that exercise with that same regard is what's going to bring progress. The attitude of this is something that's in the way, that's just in the way of me having a good, push day, right? And just sort of getting it out of the way and sort of being like, shoo, I don't want to waste my time doing that. And then trying to push yourself when you're not ready. That's what's going to lead you to stagnation and not getting back to where you want to be, right? You really want to progress these small exercises and treat them as something that is very important and a key factor to your success and recovery. Because last thing you want to do is end up in this constant cycle of pain management and re-injury. But yeah, you want to treat all these little lifts as significant because they are a part of your healing process. And if all the time you have in the gym is spent doing little rotator cuff exercises, little glute medius exercises, and these things, and your hour and a half is up, that's fine. That's progress towards getting better. And know that putting in the work within those little things will bring you back to where you want to be, to where you're smashing your compound lifts and you're going hard again at 100% later down the line. And the last point is you want to enjoy the process, which I know is hard, right? It's kind of like, dude, I'm not where I want to be right now. How am I going to enjoy the process? But you kind of want to treat yourself like an athlete. Athletes train themselves for optimal performance, regardless of what that looks like. Whether it's a big flashy compound lift or something seemingly insignificant, the athlete is always doing what is best for future performance, not for what looks good to the people around them. And at the end of the day, just enjoying the process comes down to a matter of gratitude. Understand that it is a privilege to have the ability to work out and be in the gym and work on yourself. And if you are able to heal fully, be grateful for that privilege and for that blessing, because there are people who don't have the privilege to even work out. There's someone who would kill to be where you're at physically. So always be grateful for that and just enjoy the process. Keep working hard and you will heal.